The 10 biggest business scams in history. Are you ready to uncover the biggest business scams in history? From Enron to Wirecard, these tales of deceit and greed will leave you stunned. Join us as we expose the corrupt individuals and companies that have caused billions of dollars in losses for investors and left a trail of destruction in their wake. These are the stories that the business world doesn't want you to hear. So make sure you tune in and see the dark side of the corporate world for yourself. Number 1 on our list is the Enron scandal, a tale of corporate greed that rocked the business world to its core. Enron was an energy company based in Houston, Texas, that was once considered a darling of Wall Street. But in 2001, the company's fraudulent activities were exposed, revealing that it had been engaging in accounting fraud to mislead investors about its financial performance. This led to the collapse of the company, which at its peak was worth more than $60 billion. The scandal also resulted in criminal convictions for several top executives, including CEO Jeffrey Skilling and CFO Andrew Fastow. The Enron scandal shook the foundation of the business world and led to the implementation of new regulations to protect investors. Next up is Bernie Madoff and his infamous Ponzi scheme, a story of financial deception on a massive scale. Madoff was a well-known investment advisor who ran a massive Ponzi scheme for decades, defrauding investors out of billions of dollars. If you're not familiar with Ponzi schemes, they are fraudulent investment schemes in which returns are paid to earlier investors using the investments of newer investors. The scheme relies on the continued recruitment of new investors to generate returns, and it eventually collapses when there are not enough new investors to support the returns promised to earlier investors. Madoff's scheme was eventually uncovered in 2008, and it is estimated that he defrauded investors out of more than $65 billion. Madoff's Ponzi scheme was the largest in history, and his name has become synonymous with financial fraud. Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison for his crimes, but that hasn't stopped him from becoming somewhat of a cult figure in the prison system, with some inmates even referring to him as a rock star. Number 3 on our list is WorldCom, a telecommunications company that was involved in a massive accounting fraud in 2002. The company inflated its profits and misled investors, resulting in the loss of more than $180 billion for investors. The CEO of WorldCom, Bernard Ebbers, was convicted of conspiracy and securities fraud and was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The WorldCom scandal was one of the largest corporate fraud cases in history and led to increased scrutiny of corporate accounting practices. Next up is Tyco International, a diversified multinational corporation that was at the center of a massive embezzlement scandal in 2002. Executives at the company were found to have embezzled hundreds of millions of dollars from the company, resulting in losses of more than $600 million. The company's CEO, Dennis Kozlowski, was known for his lavish lifestyle and extravagant spending habits. Kozlowski was famous for throwing luxurious parties, including a $2 million birthday party for his wife on the island of Sardinia that featured an ice sculpture of Michelangelo's David spewing vodka. Kozlowski's extravagant lifestyle was funded in part by the millions of dollars he and other executives at the company embezzled from Tyco. Kozlowski was eventually convicted of grand larceny and securities fraud and sentenced to prison for his crimes. Number 5 on our list is Lehman Brothers, an investment bank that played a significant role in the global financial crisis of 2008. In the years leading up to the crisis, Lehman Brothers engaged in risky financial practices, including use of complex financial instruments known as toxic assets. When the value of these assets plummeted, it contributed to the collapse of the economy and the global financial crisis. The bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers was one of the largest in history, with the company's assets estimated to be worth more than $600 billion. The collapse of Lehman Brothers had widespread economic consequences, contributing to the global recession that followed. The Lehman Brothers scandal highlighted the importance of responsible risk management in the financial sector. Number 6 on our list is Theranos, a company that claimed to have developed a revolutionary blood testing device that could perform a wide range of tests using only a small amount of blood. The company, founded by Elizabeth Holmes, was valued at billions of dollars, and Holmes was hailed as a brilliant innovator and entrepreneur. However, it was later revealed that the company's blood testing device was faulty and that the company had engaged in fraudulent practices, including misleading investors and providing inaccurate blood test results to customers. Holmes and the company's president, Ramesh Sunny Balwani, were both indicted on federal fraud charges in 2018. In 2020, Holmes reached a settlement with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, in which she agreed to pay a $500,000 fine and be barred from serving as an officer or director of a public company for 10 years. Balwani's case is ongoing. The Theranos scandal was a cautionary tale of the dangers of blindly trusting in the promises of charismatic leaders. Thanks for joining us in this video of the 10 biggest business scams in history. If you are shocked and outraged by the stories of greed and deception we are sharing, make sure to hit the subscribe button and join our community. Number 7 is FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange that was involved in a scheme in which it allegedly manipulated the prices of certain cryptocurrencies and engaged in wash trading, a form of market manipulation in which a trader buys and sells the same asset to create the appearance of higher trading volume. In 2021, the company and its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, were sued by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission for their alleged role in the scheme and finally arrested in 2023. He faces a life sentence in prison for misappropriating FTX customer funds. Number 8 on our list is the Wirecard scandal. Wirecard was a German payment processing company that was once considered a rising star in the tech industry. In 2020, however, it was revealed that the company had been engaged in accounting fraud and had inflated its revenues and profits for years. The company's CEO, Markus Braun, was arrested and later released on bail. One of the company's CEO, Jan Marsalek, who played a major part in the fraud, fled the country after the scandal came to light. It is said that he had multiple fake passports in his possession at the time of his disappearance. This has led to speculation that he may have fled the country using one of these fake identities. The Wirecard scandal caused the company's stock to plummet and resulted in billions of dollars in losses for investors. The scandal also had wider implications as Wirecard was a key player in the fintech industry, and its collapse led to increased scrutiny of the sector. Number 9 on our list is the Valeant Pharmaceuticals scandal. Valeant was a Canadian pharmaceutical company that was accused of engaging in price gouging and other fraudulent practices. The company was found to have acquired the rights to certain drugs and then dramatically increased their prices, leading to outrage from patients and healthcare providers. The company's former CEO, Michael Pearson, and other top executives were later charged with fraud and other crimes. The Valeant scandal resulted in billions of dollars in losses for investors and damaged the reputation of the pharmaceutical industry as a whole. Last but not least on our list is the Wells Fargo fake accounts scandal. Wells Fargo, one of the largest banks in the United States, was found to have opened millions of fake accounts in the names of its customers without their knowledge or consent. The company's employees were under pressure to meet unrealistic sales goals and resorted to creating fake accounts in order to meet these targets. The scandal resulted in billions of dollars in fines for the bank and led to the departure of several top executives, including CEO John Stumpf. The Wells Fargo scandal was a shocking example of corporate greed and the dangers of putting profits ahead of ethics. So, there you have it, the 10 biggest business scams in history. These scams showcase the darkest side of the business world and serve as a reminder that not everything is as it seems. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button.